Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Caitanya Caritāmrta overview class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from Caitanya Caritāmrta and we are on 4th chapter, which is entitled The Confidential Reasons for the Appearance of Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So this chapter is an elaboration of the 5th and 6th verse of the Ādī-Līlā first chapter, which describes the internal reasons for appearance of Lord Sri Caitanya. So far we have discussed that in this chapter, just like usual, Chaitanya Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami begins this chapter by offering obeisances to Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. He describes the external reasons that was taking away the burden of the earth, and and then he says that actually taking away the burden of earth by killing the demons is not the work of Krishna. That is the job of Vishnu. Then he describes the internal reasons for the appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the famous verse comes, Premarasa Niryas Karite Aswadana Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Korite Pracharan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears to experience the taste of love and to distribute it. Distribute the Raga Marga Bhakti. Because Kaviraj Goswami describes that when Krishna, he went back to the spiritual world, he was contemplating that everyone in this world, they worship me with Aishwarya Bhav, with awe and reverence. I am not so much pleased with that. I am pleased when my mother chastises me, she takes care of me, my friend, they climb on my shoulder, my gopis, they chastise me. I like all that. I don't like the way the stuti, which is done in the mood of awe and reverence. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna thought that I will appear with all my devotees to give this Braj Bhav. Brajara Nirmala Raga Shuni Bhaktagan Raga Marge Bhaje Na Chhadi Dharma Karma. So therefore, he glorifies the Raga Marg, which is practiced by Brajavasis. So far we have discussed till 38th verse. So we'll continue from 39th verse. So in this section, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's internal reasons for appearance are described. Dui hetu avatari laya bhaktagan apana ashwada prema nama sankirtan. So why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this world? Dui hetu, for 2 reasons. These are the internal reasons now which Kaviraj Goswami is describing. Dui hetu. What are the 2 reasons? apana aswade, to experience, to taste himself, and prema nama sankirtan. Apana aswada prem and nama sankirtan. So these are the two reasons for appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sei sei dware achandale kirtana sanchare nama prema malaganti podaila sansare. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he appeared in this world, what he did? Achandale kirtan sansare. He spread kirtan even amongst the untouchables. He made a garland of the prem and nam. Nam prem malaganti. He made a garland, a wreath of holy name and the love of God. And with this, he garlanded the entire universe. Nama prema malaganti podaila sansare. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared, to distribute his mercy to even untouchables. Just like Bhagavatam describes that anyone who chants the holy names of the Lord, they become purified. Kirat hunandra pulinda pulkasha abhir shumbha yavana khasadayah yanye cha papa yadapashraya shraya shuddhanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. Any of the low castes, anyone can be purified by chanting of the names of the Lord. Aho vatshapacho vato garyan yad jihvagre vartate namatubhyam. Even if somebody is born in a family of dog eaters, if he takes the name of Lord, he becomes purified. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to give this love to untouchables, to spread this kirtan. That's why Sarva Bhattacharya, Pratap Rudra Maharaj, when he saw the devotees from Bengal coming to Navdeep, to Jagannath Puri, he says, Aiche prema, aiche nritya, aiche hari dhvani, kaha nahi dekhiya ra kaha nahi shuni. I have never seen such chanting, such love, such dancing for the pleasure of the Lord. Kaha nahi dekhi, kahin dekha nahi, kahin suna nahi. Bhattacharya kahe madhur vachan, Chaitanya srishtiye prema sankirtan. So Sarva Bhattacharya says, "Oh King Pratap Rudra, this is the creation of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami is describing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give the highest to the lowest. That is our hope. Otherwise, there is no hope for us. Because Kali Yuga, people, they are already the lowest of all the yugas. Bhagavatam describes the qualifications of people of Kali Yuga. Manda, Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya, Padrita. So if we think that we have some qualifications, then we are not qualified to receive mercy of the Lord. If we think ourselves to be lowest, that doesn't mean we have to become lowest. We have to be in the consciousness that I am nothing. Just the fact that I'm not developing the taste for the holy names, even if I'm chanting since so many years, that means I must have done so many sinful activities. That's what Haridas Thakur is telling. That if your heart is not melting by chanting of the names of the Lord, that means you have done lots of sinful activities. Tadashmasaram hridayam batedam yad grihyamane harinamadeya. If your heart is not transforming, that means your heart is steel framed. That's what Bhagavatam says. So therefore, in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he assumed the sentiment of a devotee. Ei mat bhakta bhava kori angikar, apani achari prabhu korila prachar. Ei mat, in this way, bhakta bhava kori angikar. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the sentiments and the mood of devotee, and in this way, by his own example, apani achari bhakti, he practiced and taught by his own example, Korila Prachar. Because Krishna, when he went to spiritual world back, he was thinking, I gave this instruction of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, but nobody is practicing it. So he thought that I'll have to go down and teach by my own example. So Srila Prabhupada, he writes in the purport that who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Rupa Goswami, when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Prayag, he composed this beautiful verse. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratrushe Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya, most merciful incarnation. So Prabhupada writes, Lord Chaitanya did not invent a system of religion, it was there already existing. He just propagated that system of religion which was existing since time immemorial. So in the purport, Prabhupada writes that anyone who accepts God as a supreme, he can take to the process of chanting. There is no other qualification which is required. Only qualification required is just accept Krishna as God. He can become a lover of God. That's it. That is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why he has come. And then in these purports, see, we have to understand that this Caitanya Caritāmrta, it is not for public. Bhagavad Gita is a pan-Vedic book. Everyone in India or all over the world, they know about Bhagavad Gita. All the Vaishnavas, they know about Bhagavatam. But Caitanya Caritāmrita is our book. It is a book of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So therefore, in the purports, you'll find that Prabhupada gives lots of information which is very controversial, which was happening at that time when Prabhupada was there. And he's exposing many of the cults which were there. Prabhupada doesn't do so much in Bhagavatam purports or Bhagavad Gita purports. So in this purport, in this 41st verse purport, Prabhupada writes that there is a class of devotees, so-called devotees called Gauranga Nagaris or Nadiya Nagaris. So what they are doing, they are a group of Sahajiyas. So what they would do, they would accept the sentiments of gopis towards Lord Chaitanya. So they started telling that, oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna and we are gopis. But this is apasampradaya. Because we have to understand the mood of the incarnation. What is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He has come in the mood of a devotee, not as an enjoyer. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, such presentations are only creating disturbances in the society. And they don't allow the mission of the Lord to spread. Because the glory of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, which we see, it was not always there. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, within few hundred years, it was so degraded that all the Navdeep Vasis, they would have fish in one hand and bead bag in another hand. They would be engaging in all the sinful activities. Most of them, most of those who claim themselves to be Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they would do so. And there were many apasampradayas, Aul, Baul, Karta, Bhaja, Neda, Gauranga Nagari, Sakhi, Bheki. All these are the various apasampradayas. So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to show the world by his own personal example. And then after this, he describes the tattva of Srimati Radharani. And he tells how Radharani is the epitome of love for Krishna. He says there are 4 types of devotees having different moods, and they serve Krishna in certain way, certain rasa. What are those 4 moods? Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. So this is not Sakhya, this is Sakhya, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. The interesting feature of each of these devotees is nobody feels that, okay, I think Dasya, the person, the devotee who has Dasya bhav, he doesn't feel Sakhya is better. I want that bhav. No, every devotee is perfectly satisfied with his sentiment of rasa. Everyone thinks that his sentiment is the most excellent and is perfectly satisfied. Just like Hanuman, who is serving Lord Ram in the mood of Dasya, he will never trade his position with any other rasa. He will never want to become friend of Lord Ram or lover of Lord Ram. No, he is completely satisfied with serving Lord Ram. But Kaviraj Goswami says, although all these devotees, for them it is their relation is best. But if we see from impartial perspective, if we compare, we'll find a gradation, hierarchy. And the conjugal rasa, Madhurya Bhav, is superior than all the other rasas. So Srila Prabhupada writes, although these relationships are absolute, but there are some transcendental differences. So differences are not material. It is not that, oh, he is greater, he is lower. No, it is all transcendental. There is no material envy there. So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami quotes a verse from Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu, where Rupa Goswami is telling how Madhurya is the highest. So Rupa Goswami tells in this 45th verse that increasing love is experienced in various tastes, one after another, but the highest taste is achieved in the conjugal rasa. And then he tells that there are two types of Shringara rasa or conjugal love. First is wedded love and then unwedded love, Swakiya and Parakiya. So these two are the moods of Shringar. What is Parakiya and what is Swakiya? So Kaviraj Goswami will explain in detail. So Parakiya Bhav, what is Parakiya Bhav? Parakiya Bhavati Rasera Ullas Braja Bina Iha Anyatra Nahivas. Parakiya Bhav Ati Rasera Ullas. So this unwedded love, there is a great increase of mellow. That is the highest. But where do we find such unwedded love? Only in Vraja. You will not find this unwedded Shringaras anywhere in the creation except Vraja Dham. Vraja Badhu Ganer Bhava Niravadhi Tar Madhye Shri Radhaya Bhavera Avadhi. So Braj Badhu Ganer, the damsels of Braja, they carry this mood of unwedded love. And of all the damsels of Braja, Radharani's mood is the highest. She is the perfection of this bhava. So as now Kaviraj Goswami is going to describe this, Prabhupada gives elaborate purports to describe what is this conjugal rasa, what is this unwedded parakiya bhav, and how it is, how we should understand it, because all the great scriptures, they glorify, Bhagavatam glorifies this as a topmost. Srila Prabhupada, he very, very nicely describes and elaborates what is this unwedded parakiya bhav and how should we look at it. Praudh nirmal bhav prema sarvottam Krishnera madhurya ras karai aswadan. Praudh nirmal bhav. This bhava is her bhav, Radharani's bhav is Praudha Nirmal, mature and pure. Praud Nirmal Bhava Prem Sarvottam. So this section of this fourth chapter describes everything we should know about Srimati Radharani. Because ultimately we are Gaudiyas. Gaudiya means we are followers of Srimati Radharani. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati once tell, actually we have nothing, he once told that, actually we have nothing to do with Krishna. But because Radharani likes Krishna, she likes to serve him. That's why we have some relationship with him. So if we call ourselves as Gaudiyas, we should know who is Srimati Radharani. And this chapter describes in detail about the tattva of Srimati Radharani. So from 39th verse to 95, all these verses describe in detail about the tattva of Srimati Radharani, which every Gaudiya Vaishnava should understand. Although we can never understand in full, just like Krishna is unlimited, Radharani is unlimited. But at least we should have some understanding of who is Srimati Radharani. What is the tattva of Srimati Radharani? Because Bhagavatam doesn't even mention the name of Srimati Radharani. Shukdev Goswami just mentions once, that too indirectly. Anayaradhito nunam Bhagavan Harishwaraha. Anayaradhito nunam. This gopi has perfectly worshipped the Supreme Lord Hari. Who is that gopi? Anayaradhito. Aradhana, the word includes Radha indirectly. Because Shukdev Goswami is very much aware and careful of the audience. He knows that Parikshit Maharaj only has 7 days to go. And till 10th canto, when he's speaking this verse, he may have only 2 days remaining or 3 days remaining. So Parikshit Maharaj is very much Shukdev Goswami is very much aware of whom I am speaking to. Because Shukdev Goswami, whenever he hears or speaks the name of Srimati Radharani, he goes into ecstasy for 6 months. Murcha sanmasiki bhavet. 6 months he would be in ecstasy, trance. So Parikshit hitkrin munihi. So Shukdev Goswami was hita. Shukdev Goswami was thinking of the welfare of Parikshit Maharaj. Therefore, he didn't take the name of Radharani. So where to find the details of Srimati Radharani? So Kaviraj Goswami in this chapter has described so many wonderful details of the Radha Tattva. And this should make our understanding and dedication to Srimati Radharani very strong. Who is this personality whom I am worshipping? Praudha Nirmal Bhava Prema Sarvottam Krishnera Madhure Ras Karaya Aswadan. Praudha Nirmal Bhava, purest and the mature form of love is displayed by Srimati Radharani. Krishnera Madhure Ras Karaya Aswadan. And his love is the cause of Krishna's tasting the sweetness of conjugal relationship. And therefore, to experience this bhav of Srimati Radharani, Caitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared. Ataeva sei bhava angikara kori sadhilena nijmancha gauranga Shri Hari. Ataev, therefore, sei bhav, this bhav of Srimati Radharani angikara kori, sei bhava angikara kari. So he accepted the sentiments of Srimati Radharani, sadhilena nijvancha, and to fulfill his own desires. Because Krishna was also intrigued. What is the bliss which is experienced by Srimati Radharani? She is serving me and she is more happy than me. How is this possible? I want to experience that taste. So Prabhupada writes about Parakiya Bhav here in this purport. In the 50th verse purport, Prabhupada describes, Expert analysts have decided that the transcendental ecstasy of Parakya mellow is better than Swakiya. Why? Because it is more enthusiastic. How it is more enthusiastic? Because this phase of conjugal love is found in those who have surrendered to the Lord in intense love. Who can exhibit such parakya bhav? Not that anyone can imitate. Only those who have surrendered to the Lord in pure love. And they know well that this relationship with a paramour is not proper. So therefore there is a risk involved in this. It is morally unapproved. There is a risk involved, and the risks make this emotion superior than Swakiya Bhav. But then Prabhupada clarifies. So because hearing this, somebody knows, wow, oh, I can also, try this if ordinary outsider hears this. Then Prabhupada clarifies. The validity of such risk, however, is possible only in the transcendental world. Only in the transcendental realm it is possible. It is not possible in this material realm. This validity of the risk. And then Prabhupada writes, Swakiya and Parakya, they both have no existence in the material world. They both are existing only in Vraja. Of course, Parakya is existing only in Vraja. Even in Vaikuntha, Parakya is not exhibited. There are no paramours of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu has only Lakshmi, his wedded wife. So Prabhupada writes that Parakya sentiment exists only in the transcendental realm and nowhere else. And this is the highest form of ecstasy which can be manifested in the transcendental world. But by the mercy of Lord, we can have a peep into that invisible spiritual world. It is not existing anywhere. It is not that Krishna is performing these pastimes in all his incarnations. No. Only when he comes once in a day of Brahma, then he manifests these pastimes so that we can have a glimpse. And then Kaviraj Goswami quotes a verse from this Rupa Goswami's Stavamala. There he tells that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the shelter of all the devatas, who is the be-all and end-all of all the great sages, who is the essence of love of gopis, may he be the object of my vision again. Lord Krishna, he desired to taste that limitless love of Srimati Radharani. And with that intention, he appeared as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, carrying the color of Srimati, the effulgence of Srimati Radharani. So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami says, Bhava Grahanera Hetu Kaila Dharma Sthapan Tara Mukhya Hetu Kahi Shuna Sarvajan. To accept the ecstatic love is the main reason for appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now I am going to describe in detail. So now Kaviraj Goswami is going to elaborate this even more. So he says, first I gave just the hints of this 1.5, Anarpita Charincharat Karunayavatirna Kalau. So he gave just the hints. Now in this 55th verse, 54th verse, it tells, now I am going to elaborate it in detail. So this is the verse which is going to elaborate on fifth, and then sixth is Anarpita. Fourth was Anarpita, and then this fifth is Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti. Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? That verse is going to be describing in great detail in this remaining part of the chapter. So fourth verse is described in the third chapter. Now the fifth verse is going to describe in this chapter. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Ladini Shaktirasmat Ekatmanau api bhuvi pura deha bhedau gatau tam Chaitanyakyam prakatam tatvayam chaityam aktam Radha bhava dviti suvalitam naumi Krishna swarupam. So who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Radha Krishna, they are one, they became two, and then again they have come as one, as Lord Sri Chaitanya. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti. So the loving affairs, Pranaya, the loving affairs of Srimati Radha and Krishna, they are the Ahladini Shakti Rasmat. They are the manifestations of Lord's internal potency. Ahladini Shakti. Ahladini is the pleasure giving potency of the Lord. Ekatmanav, they were one, although they are one in identity, but they separated themselves. They became two. Radha Krishna, they are one, but they became two. And now, Chaitanyakyam Prakatamadhuna. Now these two transcendental identities, they have again come close as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They have again united. Radha Bhava Dviti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. And therefore I bow down to that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who manifested himself carrying the complexion of Srimati Radharani. So this verse is from Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami's diary. And now Kaviraj Goswami is going to describe this verse in the chapter. So this is again another famous verse. Radha Krishna Ekatma Dui Deho Dhari Anyonye Vilase Rasa Asvadana Kori. Radha and Krishna, they are Ekatma. They were one. Anyonye Dui Deho Dhari. Now they have, and they took two bodies. They are one. They took two bodies. Now, Anyonye Vilase. Why they took two bodies? So that they can enjoy each other. Rasa Asvadana Kari. To experience the mellows of love, they became two. And that those two personalities, they have again become one. Say Dui Ekaebe Chaitanya Gosai Rasa Asvadite Dohe Hoilat Ekathai. Say Dui, those two personalities, they have now again become one. Why? Again to experience the rasa. So to experience the rasa, they became two. Now they have become one to experience the rasa. So Prabhupada writes very wonderful purport in this 56th verse. He says, these two transcendentalists, Radha and Krishna, they are the puzzle. They are a puzzle to materialists. Prabhupada writes, Krishna is a potent factor and Srimati Radharani is the internal potency of the Lord. They are one. Because according to Vedanta, there is no difference between the potent and the potency. They are one. Shakti and Shaktiman, they are one. Without Shakti, Shaktiman, Shakti cannot exist. And if Shakti is there, Shaktiman has to be there. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, we cannot differentiate one from other. They are both one. And that is the Achintya Bhed Abhed. Because everything is absolute in relationship to the Supreme Lord. It is inconceivable. You cannot understand how that one became two and two became one. Then Prabhupada writes, who is Srimati Radharani? Radharani is a transparent media who is transmitting the services of all the living entities to Krishna. That is the very, very important thing we have to understand. That what is the role of Srimati Radharani, what she is doing always. If somebody comes and prays to Krishna, Srimati Radharani tells, please accept him. Isko. Arey, he is sleeping whole time in Bhagavatam class. While chanting he sleeps. At least chanting mein so raha hai na. At least sitting in Bhagavatam and sleeping. Accept him. So Radharani, because she is Vidyarthini, she thinks that everybody is doing better than me. That's why Radharani is called as Vidyarthini, always learning newer and newer ways to serve Krishna. And she never feels that I am qualified. I am the best. No, she thinks I don't know anything to how to serve Krishna. So therefore, anyone comes and tries to serve Krishna, Radharani just encourages that devotee. She puts plea in front of Krishna on behalf of that devotee. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, devotees in Vrindavan, they take shelter of Srimati Radharani. That's why they call, always keep on taking the name of Srimati Radharani. And this Srimati Radharani, she is a pleasure potency, and all the activities of Lord Chaitanya. This is very important. Prabhupada is writing. All activities of Lord Chaitanya, they are primarily in the role of pleasure giving potency. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is primarily playing the role of Ladini Shakti. And what is the role of Ladini Shakti? It will be described in the next verse in great detail. So that's why we have to understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is completely immersed in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and that's why he is giving the highest to the most undeserving candidate. अपनी करी आस्वादने शिखाइला भक्तगणे प्रेम चिंतामणि प्रभु धनी नाही जाने स्थान स्थान यारे तारे कोइल दान महाप्रभु दाता शिरोमणि. He's not thinking this person is qualified, this person is not qualified. Everyone is getting mercy. That is the mood of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One time Achyutanand Swami, he asked Prabhupada, who is higher, Krishna or Srimati Radharani? Who is bigger? Prabhupada said, Srimati Radharani is highest because her love is so high that Krishna, he appears at Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to experience the love which Srimati Radharani has. Sei dui ekaibe Chaitanya Gosai ras aswadite dohoy hoila ekathai. So then Kaviraj Goswami is telling in 58th verse that I shall now delineate the tattva of Srimati Radharani and Krishna. What is the position of Sri Radha and Krishna? Because if we want to know the glory of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first we have to understand who is Srimati Radharani, who is Krishna. So therefore he goes on to describe the position of Srimati Radharani. And very, very famous verses come here. Radhikar hoye Krishner pranaya vikar Surupa Shakti Ladini Nama Yahar. Who is Srimati Radharani? Krishnera Pranaya Vikar. She is the transformation of Krishna's love. Surupa Shakti. She is the internal potency of Krishna, and her name is Ladini. Ladini Nama Yahar. What is the role of Srimati Radharani? Ladini Karaye Krishna Ananda Swadan. Ladini Radware Kore Bhaktera Poshan. There are two roles of Ladini potency. Ladini Karaye Krishna Ananda Aswadan. Her job is to give pleasure to Krishna. That's what her existence is for. And Ladini radvare kore bhaktera poshan. And she is the one who nourishes all the devotees. So this is a very, very important thing. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that Jiva Goswami, he describes in his Priti Sandarbha about this Ladini potency. Who is this Ladini potency? So he tells there that the Vedas, they state that only devotion. So this Ladini Shakti is the embodiment of devotion. And only by devotional service one can reach the Supreme Lord. Only by devotional service a devotee can meet Lord face to face. And only by devotional service Krishna is attracted. Shri Krishna Akarshini. That's what Rupa Goswami writes in Nectar of Devotion also. One of the qualities of Srimati Radharani and devotion is Shri Krishna Akarshini. Srimati Radharani is the embodiment of devotion. And she can only attract Krishna. Because Krishna is all spiritual, he cannot be attracted by anything material. So therefore, she is the embodiment of devotion which can attract Krishna. And the bliss which she is experiencing is unlimited times greater than even Brahmananda. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, love of God is an epithet for the pleasure potency of the God. Therefore, devotional service reciprocated between the Lord and the devotee. What is this? It is an exhibition of Ladini Shakti. Whenever a devotee reciprocates with the Lord, that reciprocation cannot happen without the presence of Ladini. So, Ladini, her role is Ladini Karai Krishne Anand Aswadan. Ladini Shakti, she is the embodiment of joy. She nourishes the devotee. So when we become morose in Krishna consciousness, we feel weak. That means we are not accessing the Ladini Shakti. If we interact too much with the Maya Shakti, if we interact too much with the Jada potency, Jada Shakti of the Lord, then we will become weak. So therefore, to experience joy of Krishna consciousness, we have to beg and pray for the mercy of Ladini Shakti. Otherwise, after a few years, one becomes very, very dry and thinks, what is happening in my life? So Prabhupada writes, ignorant person, they cannot understand that what is the difference between the bliss of impersonal Brahman and the bliss of spiritual world. But a devotee understands. The bliss of reciprocation of Lord is unlimited. When Lord reciprocates, that bliss is unlimited. So the more we cry for the mercy of Krishna and Srimati Radharani, the more we will get the mercy. So Prabhupada, he gives the example. Once he was going on a morning walk and he saw that in a lake there was a mother duck and many small kids. So one of the small duck, it was quacking loudly, and mother was feeding that duck first. Prabhupada said, this is how we have to cry for Krishna. Cry for the mercy of Srimati Radharani. So the more we cry helplessly, the more we will attract the attention of Srimati Radharani. So while practicing devotional service, if we feel dry, that means we are not accessing the Ladini Shakti. Otherwise, it is not possible. It is like somebody is having a bulb, but there is no light connection. There is no electrical connection. So it looks like the bulb is there, but there is no light because the connection is cut. So we may practice the externals of devotional service, but if we are not praying sincerely enough, if we are not eager enough, if we don't desire enough, then we will not get the mercy. And when problems come, confusions come, then we may go away from Krishna consciousness. So we have to learn to beg and to pray to the Lord. And our prayers should transform into our actions also. It is not that just we have to pray and then keep doing all other things. No. We have to transform our prayers in our actions also. That is what will keep us alive. That is what will keep us enlivened in Krishna consciousness. Because the mercy of the Lord is everywhere. Mercy of Srimati Radharani is everywhere. We have to learn to connect to the flow of mercy. Otherwise, if we are attracted to the name, fame, prestige, after practicing for a few years, our desire for gross sense gratification may go down, but the subtle sense gratification may still be there. Name, fame, prestige, puja, love, pratishtha. The more we are attracted to those things, the less we will be attracted towards Krishna. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami describes Ladinira dware kore bhaktera poshan. So then he says that Krishna's body is Sat, Chit and Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. And these three are the potencies of Krishna. So Ladini, she is the aspect of bliss. Sandhini, she is the aspect of knowledge. And Sandhini is the aspect of eternal existence. And Samvit is the aspect of knowledge. So Prabhupada in the purport, he writes that Jiva Goswami writes in his Bhagavad Sandarbha that the transcendental potency of the Lord which maintains his existence. The Lord is eternal. Lord never gets destroyed. That is the Sandhini potency. The potency of the Lord by which Lord knows himself and Lord knows everything in the creation, that is called as Samvit. And the potency of the Lord by which Lord feels happy about his existence and by which the devotees of the Lord are blissful, that is called as Ahladini. Lord is the embodiment of Vishuddha Sattva. Vishuddha Sattva means beyond the goodness of this world, pure goodness, Vishuddha Sattva, completely free from anything mundane. And this Vishuddha Sattva is a proper atmosphere in which one can experience the Lord. And then again he quotes a verse from Vishnu Puran where it is described that Krishna, he is the source of everything and he has three potencies, Samvit, Sandhini and Ladini. What is Sandhini? So first he describes Sandhini, then Samvit and then Ladini. So what is the Sandhini potency? Sandhini rasara amsha shuddha sattvanam bhagvanera sattahoyaha te vishram. So this Ladini, the Sandhini, what is the Sandhini? The essential portion of Sandhini is Shuddha Sattva, purified existence. Bhagvanera Satta. Satta is the common Hindi word. Aaj ka satta mein kaun hai? That word, Satta. So the existence, the dominance of the Lord over everything, the existence of the Lord is because of this Sandhini potency. And what else is the role of the Sandhini potency? Actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes in great detail about these potencies in his book Jaiva Dharma. So Kaviraj Goswami writes that Krishna's mother, father, abode, house, bedding, seats, and everything of the spiritual world, they are all transformations of Shuddha Sattva. They are all manifestations of internal potency of Sandhini. It's a platform of pure goodness. And then he quotes a verse from Bhagavatam 4th canto. Sattvam vishuddham vasudeva shadditam yad iyate tatra puman apavritah Sattve cha tasmin bhagavan vasudevo hiyudhokshajo me manasa vidhiyate Sattvam vishuddham vasudeva shabditam. That Vishuddha Sattva is called as Vasudeva Tattva, in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead is revealed. If somebody is in purified consciousness, then he can see the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is revealed only to those people who have purified their mind of all the material contaminations. That pure stage is called as Vasudeva Tattva, Vasudeva stage or Vishuddha Sattva stage. What is this Samvit? So Sandhini manifests the entire spiritual world. Krishna's father, mother, everything of the spiritual world is because of this Sandhini. What is this Samvit? Krishnera Bhagavata Gyan Samvitera Sar Brahma Gyanadika Sabatara Parivar. Krishnera Bhagavata Gyan. The essence of Samvit is the knowledge that the Supreme Personality is Lord Krishna. Whatever knowledge we see in this world, Brahma, Gyan and everything else, it is manifesting from this Samvit only. So Prabhupada writes a little technical purport in this verse. He tells that the activities of Samvit, Shakti, they produce cognition. They produce the effects of cognition. By this Samvit, Krishna is aware. And because of this, living entities are aware of their existence. We are aware of our existence, but we are aware of only our existence. Krishna is aware of the existence of entire cosmic manifestation and entire spiritual world. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also. Kshetragya. Says Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. There is one Kshetragya, one who knows only one body, but I know all the bodies. So Krishna is cognizant of everything in the creation. So he says this cognition, it has three divisions: direct knowledge, indirect knowledge, and perverted knowledge. What is perverted knowledge? The knowledge which we see, which we gather with our senses. It is all false because our senses are defective. We have imperfect senses, we tend to make mistakes, we cheat others, we are illusioned. So the knowledge which we gather with our senses, it is all perverted knowledge. What is indirect knowledge? The knowledge which we receive about Brahman. What is Brahman? Neti, Neti. Brahman is not this, Brahman is not this, he has no form, no eyes, no. Then what is this? That is not clear. That is indirect knowledge. It has validity, it is appropriate, but not completely. And what is direct knowledge? The knowledge which one receives by this Samvit potency. Then after describing this Samvit, he describes Hladini Shakti. What is this Hladini Shakti? Hladini Rasara Prema Prema Sara Bhava Bhavera Parama Kashtha Nama Mahabhava. Hladini Rasara Prema. The essence of Hladini potency is love of God. Hladini Rasara Prema. Prem Sar Bhava. The essence of love is Bhava. Bhavera Paramakashtha Nama Mahabhava. And the ultimate development of this Bhav is Mahabhav. So these stages, they come after Prema. We have heard from Shraddha to Prema. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, ruchi, asakti, bhav, prem. After that, there are levels after prema also. There is one bhava after prema also. And the highest manifestation of those, that prema is mahabhava. So Prabhupada writes that the Ladini Shakti, it has two divisions. One is a pure love and adulterated love. The pure love. What is this pure love? When Ladini Shakti is experienced in relationship with Krishna, that is pure love. And when the Ladini Shakti is adulterated, when it comes from the attraction with the material world, because living entities, they also have love. So whatever love we have, it is coming from where? It is coming from Ladini Shakti, but it is adulterated love. Adulterated with the desire to enjoy this material world. And the whole process of Krishna consciousness is to purify our adulterated love. At present, our love is adulterated and we are attracted by things of the world and people of the world. Our whole process is to purify our adulterated love. The more we hear, the more we will be purified. Pravishtakarnarandrena swanam bhavasaroruham dhunoti shamalam krishna salilasya yathasharat pibanti ye bhagavata atmana kathamritam shravanaputeshu samhritam punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam brajanti tacharana saroruhantikam. When the sound vibration enters the ears and goes to the heart, it purifies the heart just like autumnal rains. When we drink the nectar of Harikatha, Pibantiye Bhagavata, through the mouth of the Vaishnavas, the words which come out, they are like nectar. When they enter the ears, Katha Amritam, that is a nectar. What happens? Punanti te Vishaya Vidushita Shayam. They purify us of the polluted aim of life. What is the polluted aim of life? To desire to enjoy things of the world. Prajanti tat charana saroruhantikam. And then one can desire to go close to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. There is no other way to purify ourselves than to keep hearing again and again for a long time. If we show our sincere endeavors to Krishna, for sure Krishna will reciprocate. Even if we don't like, even if we are practicing bhakti with some ulterior motives, if we keep on practicing with consistent devotion, with consistency, even if there is no pure devotion, anything we do with consistency, even if we are doing with ulterior motives, we get purified. Krishna purifies our ulterior motives. So, Ladini rasara prem, prema sara bhav, bhavera paramakashtha nama mahabhav. And who is Srimati Radharani? Mahabhava Swarupa Shri Radha Thakurani. Sarvaguna Khani Krishna Kanta Shiromani. Who is Srimati Radharani? Mahabhava Swarupa. She is the Srimati Radharani, Radha Thakurani. She is the embodiment of Mahabhav. So Prabhupada writes, the unadulterated love is exhibited only by the damsels of Braja, headed by Srimati Radharani. So if one approaches Krishna consciousness without knowing the tattva of Srimati Radharani, then the relationship will not become strong. You have to understand who is Srimati Radharani, which we are trying to serve. And with that consciousness, if we serve Srimati Radharani, serve Krishna, then our heart will be purified. So that is Srimati Radharani. So we have to be focused. What are we here for? Mahabhava Swarupa Shri Radha Thakurani. We are here to serve Krishna, serve Srimati Radharani. So Krishna, he has appeared in this most mysterious form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to inspire us to go deeper into this subject matter. That is the only purpose of appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to make us realize what is this love. So if we want to experience that love, we have to go deeper. We have to pray. We have to beg. Then Krishna will show mercy. So Krishna's, Srimati Radharani's position is described. She is the essence of Prema, Mahabhav. And then Kaviraj Goswami describes how the position of Srimati Radharani is the highest among all the consorts of Krishna. Sarva Guna Khani Krishna Kanta Shiromani. So that we'll discuss tomorrow. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Chaitanya Caritāmrta ki jai. Anyone has any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
That Rupa Goswami, he recited Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there are other pranam mantras also, like Mangalacharana prayers. All this has been composed by whom?
Composed by
whom?
So this one is composed by Rupa Goswami, and some prayers are composed by Swarup Damodar Goswami, some are by Raghunath Das Goswami. All the associates of the Lord, they have composed various Mangalacharan prayers in glorification of the Lord. Like that. Just like in Chaitanya Caritāmrta, you will find in the beginning of every chapter, there is a Mangalacharan. There is a glorification of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So every devotee, if he knows Sanskrit, he compiles invocation prayer, composes an invocation prayer, not compiles, composes for the glorification of the Lord. So all are bona fide, all are connected to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, then in that case, Prabhupada Pranam Mantra and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Pranam Mantra, these had been composed by their disciples.
Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra was composed by whom?
That is what I'm asking you.
Prabhupada himself composed his Pranam Mantra. Do you know that?
Okay.
You know? So Prabhupada, because who will compose? Because Prabhupada, he started preaching to all these hippies, they knew nothing about Sanskrit. So out of his mercy, Prabhupada himself composed his own Pranam Mantra.
Okay.
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Pranam Mantra was composed by one of his very elderly disciples. I forgot the name. One of the disciples of Saraswati Thakur, he composed Pranam Mantra of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Like that. But Prabhupada is so very humble. It requires lots of, it is actually embarrassing, but that is the humility of Prabhupada, that, okay, I have to show mercy to these people. I don't mind writing it myself. So Prabhupada, he composed his own.
Okay, Prabhupada.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kaviraj Goswami ki jai.
Hare Krishna.